President Emerson Mnangagwa has again been elected as the leader of Zimbabwe, securing his second term at the helm of the country's presidency. The incumbent leader of ZANU-PF was declared victorious Saturday by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission with 52.6% of the total vote cast. While reacting to election results, Mnangagwa was quoted as saying, "I am so happy that the race was run peacefully, transparently, and fairly in broad daylight. I am happy that there was a huge turnout by our people. I am sure that very few people in this country will say that the elections were marred by any violence, because there was no violence at all, and that I think is what we should, as Zimbabweans, cherish." However, main opposition candidates and main challenger Nelson Chamisa of the Citizens Coalition for Change has challenged and rejected the poll results, promising legal actions. He secured 44% of the total vote cast, securing the second position. The latest polls marked the second since the ouster of then-President Robert Mugabe in 2017. Mnangagwa continued to have a daunting task to revamp the economy of Zimbabwe and uphold a foreign policy, among others, that will benefit Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans.
I can assure you that I did not conduct the elections. I competed with them in this race to win the elections, and I'm happy that I've won the race. I think those who feel the race was not run properly should know where to go to complain. I'm so happy that the race was run peacefully, transparently, and fairly, broad daylight. And I'm happy that there was huge turnout by our people. I'm sure that very few people in this country will say that the elections were marred by any violence, because there was no violence at all. And I think this is what we should, as Zimbabweans, cherish and continue to maintain. This is now shows how mature our democracy is. It is possible that even in a family, not all children become obedient to the parents. The parents will do their best to teach culture to their children, but some kids will continue to do otherwise, but they still remain kids of the family. Yes, I'm aware that some observer missions went beyond their call of duty and began interrogating legislation passed by our parliament. It is my view that every single sovereign country passes their legislation through their legislature, and Zimbabwe is not an exception. And the legislature is composed of the people of this country, and it is through that arm of the state where we regulate what we want as a country. I don't think it is in the mandate of election observers to interrogate institutions of a sovereign government, the judiciary, the legislature, and governance. I believe that their mandate is to observe the transparency, peacefulness, and the fairness of the conduct of elections, which I'm happy to say no one questions that.
Fully implementing the 2020 ceasefire by Libyan warring parties remains a call for concern. The United Nations Support Mission in Libya has on a workshop Sunday discussed ways to inculcate the civil society in implementing the 2020 ceasefire and equally its role in backing the Joint Military Commission GMC 5+5's efforts in ensuring peace in Libya. The workshop allowed the participants to make an appraisal of the activities of the GMC and the United Nations Support Mission and Libya back in the Libyan seas firm monitoring mechanism. The workshop also zoomed on lessons learned from civil society participation in truth monitoring processes in other countries. The UN Support Mission and Libya reviewed on its Twitter page. The Joint Military Commission, it should be noted, has been working over the years to ensure total departure of mercenaries, foreign fighters and foreign forces from Libya. Military leaders from the North African countries' government and also those from opposition forces which were led by General Khalifa Haftar on the 23rd of October 2020 signed a peace accord. It was one of the pragmatic ways to bring peace to Libya that has remained shattered ever since the departure of then President Muammar Gaddafi. US President Joe Biden has extended an invitation to his Nigerian counterpart Bola Tinubu. The meeting between the two leaders apparently is to discuss the military intervention in Niger among a plethora of choices available to the ECOWAS community of West African states to resolve the political crisis rocking the nation in recent times. The invitation came through Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Ambassador Molipi, who called on President Tinubu in Abuja and extended Biden's exclusive invitation to meet on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York City, built for September this year. President Tinubu accepted the invitation, reiterating that ECOWAS is intentional about finding peaceful settlement to the crisis rocking Niger. ECOWAS's role in Niger since the ouster of President Mohamed Bazoum in July 2023, whom the junta charged with treason and undermining state security, has been highly problematic as the regional bloc has made fierce criticism over its stance on the Niger crisis. It should be noted that Niger remains in the spotlight as leaders across Africa and beyond continue to explore all diplomatic tools to salvage the situation.